Hello everyone and welcome to this week's weekly recap from March 9 through March 13th. And as always, let's go! And as always, starting off with the Wednesdays, we started on Uncharted 3. As always, the start of a new game. Well, sort of a new game. You get the tutorial, which was in this case a little bar fight. We do get killed at the end, and then we flash back to Drake as he was as a kid about 20 years ago. One of the first things we see is Sully opening a glass case which has some sort of a decoder artifact in there, and after trying to get there we get kicked out of the museum, so we start to stalk Sully instead. After seeing a bunch of things of him and stalking him for a long time, we steal his wallet and actually comes back at us like, hey, give us back the wallet, kid, do it. Anyways, he secretly keeps the key and we break into the museum and try to steal the artifact once more, and we get captured by Marlowe. After that we have to flee from the guards, and we are later saved by Sully because one guy wants to shoot us and Sully shoots that guy instead. At that point we go back to the future where we are dying, or better said, we are nothing, not even hurt. And we're still alive because, like, psych, it was just all fake. And the thing after that is that we're gonna stalk, or better said, tail Marlowe to get to wherever the hell she's hiding. And we end up in some underground thing at the London thing, we end up at the train station, and we do find Marlowe. We then find out, hey, this is a fake ring because we didn't give her the real ring, if you remember, the ring that Drake always has around his neck. Nonetheless, we have to solve a little puzzle, and then lots and lots of guards show up. We have to escape from that, and after escaping, we had our own ways, and me and Sully head to France at some mansion. We have to get in, and apparently we were tracked by Marlowe who followed us, and we have to work through a whole bunch of guards once more. We solve a little floor puzzle, a little wall puzzle, and after that, the mansion gets set on fire after we find a little amulet, which is later taken by Talbot. After we escape from the burning building, we head to Syria where Chloe and Charlie are the other ones. We have to help them solve hints to get treasure. We get split up with Sully and Chloe, leaving us with Charlie, and actually that's where we end up on the Wednesdays. Coming on the Thursdays, where we left off on the Wednesdays, with Charlie moving on our back, we have to move to some stuffs because we want to find wherever the treasure is in Syria. So we move up to find some hints, find our way back to Chloe and Sully, and after that, Charlie gets drugged by Talbot, he attacks us, and actually later in we get to light some braziers, we have to get the water running to make the globe spinnable, to find the locations of wherever. Anyways, way up, we find the grave, and we find the second half of the amulet. Once again, Talbot gets on our asses and gets the amulet. Charlie makes a jump because he was narrowed down to a very, very tight spot, and it breaks his leg. We escape the building, and that's where we head to Arabia. After heading through the town, we tail Talbot, we get a little fight area, we head into a well, and that's where I'm not sure that goes. There's a puzzle that you have to find 3 holes, or better said, you have to find a certain location to watch from, and with the help of Elena and Sully, you have to pull 3 levers at the same time, followed up by a little puzzle where you have all these limbs and stuff hanging in the air, and you have to line up the shadows to make a certain image. After that, one final puzzle is by placing gears back, or at least the gears with a specific logo on them, and that's where we find the star map. We have to escape the wall from a bunch of soldiers once more. I mean, do the soldiers ever stop? I doubt it. After escaping from the well, Nathan gets drugged by Talbot like they did with Charlie, and we go completely batshit crazy. We get a little drug segment, and we get captured by Marlowe, Talbot, and the other people. After that, we escape, and we chase Talbot for a long time. And we actually get knocked out by a pirate, and well, we are on some sort of ship, and we have to escape and try to find Sully. There's a lot of areas where we climb and whatever whatnot, kill people, you know, the usual stuff. After seeing the main ship where Sully is, that's where we end up the stream, and we call it the Niceies. And continue our Friday where we left off yesterday with the main ship aside. We're gonna continue working through all the ship wreckages. We get on a small boat, we have to survive on it, blow up the other boat that's attacking us with RPGs, because blowing that up with RPGs, and that's when we get on the main ship. We have to beat this armored guy who's giving me one hell of a time, where we later end up at this casino-ish looking area, and we later find out that Sully has not been captured. After that, the ship capsizes and we have to escape the boat. After ending up on the main deck, the pirate is like, hey, fuck you, shoots the glass and causes a massive flood inside of the boat. After sort of escaping the boat, we end up back on land, and we actually end up back in Elena. And we track down Sully, infiltrate the airbase, where we have to get on the plane to get dropped nearby Sully as good as possible. We do get a little fight on the plane, which later causes the plane to crash down in the desert, where we get a lot of desert cutscenes, dialogue, pretty much not so interesting stuff. After finding a little abandoned settlement, or at least we think it's abandoned, we have to fight a lot of mercenaries. Just simply, the fighting never ends. After almost getting killed, we get saved by this guy called Salim, and who helps us chase a convoy, which actually has Sully in there, where we have to save him from. After saving Sully, we continue running, and we head into some misty area where the other convoy also went in, and we end up in some underground area where we have to solve a puzzle, and we find the entrance to Ubra, the place we've been looking for all along. After getting in there, we drink some water, and then shit goes really down because Sully gets shot and he dies. I mean, oh no, not Sully. But nonetheless, we explore through. We have to fight some fire demon soldiers, how weird as that may sound. And we get some weird little trip where we once again go back to the child age of Drake. And we fight spiders, once again the fire demons, and blah 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 blah. And it ends with Sully shooting us. I mean, wasn't he dead? What the fuck? Nonetheless, he comes back out of his trippy thing. And Sully comes right at us, being like, no, you can't be real. And then it seems that we went completely batshit crazy because we drank the water and we have to track down Marlowe. After finding that, we try to flank him and Sully gets shot into the water. We try to save him. We do, of course, as well. We have some gun that we found and we blow up the entire place. The whole place goes crashing down to shit. Not much later, we do find Marlowe and she dies in the quicksand, like finally. We're gonna try to escape from Uber as well. We have to do one last fight with Talbot. We kill him. And that's where we finish off Uncharted number 3. And that's where we also end up the stream. And coming to Saturdays with our Retro Saturdays, we continue the Minish cap, where we ended up at the wind tunnel last time, so we start working through that. We get a bunch of chests, you know, the usual stuff. We find the moments item, which allows us to dig through the sand blocks, and also the little round things in the walls. Of course, we find the boss, which is pretty much like the Dongo from Ocarina of Time. You shoot the hands, we become small, go inside of his head, destroy things for about 3 to 4 times, and that will kill him. But instead of getting the usual element, we get his ocarina, and we find out that the element is somewhere else. Like, nice, doing a dungeon for nothing. Nonetheless, we do some of the usual stuff, like doing a bunch of kinstone fusing, and we learn the Pegasus dash attack. We get for Roar House, we get the 3 books quest, where you have to get a bunch of stuff. In the meantime, we get the power bracelets, which allows us to push big things while we're small Link. We get a bunch of figurines as well for the mystery shells, you know, get rid of a bunch of those. Then we go get the final book, deliver that. We get a little dungeon where we get the flippers, which allows us as always to swim in the water. After getting those, we head to the water temple. We work our way through there. It was mainly shoving puzzles, like, you know, getting things into buttons with the slippery ice and whatnot. We get the flame lantern at one point and we fight the giant Octorok boss. Of course, we beat him. It was pretty easy. And we infuse the blade with water, and we learn how to make 3 copies instead of the usual self that we have now. And yeah, that's pretty much for the end of the stream. We buy the bigger arrow quiver because I had like 800 to 900 rupees. And then coming down to the final day of the week, Sunday modded Skyrim. We pretty much start off with a main quest, learning the second word of Fusroda, aka Fus, and we learn the first word for the sprint shout. After that, we headed to some random cave, and we come to my giant doom, the Druggers. Although it wasn't that bad this time because we got completely prepared with the silver arrows and whatnot. Anyways, we work out pretty quickly, we had to ride run, and the cultists show up for the Dragonborn DLC start. Of course, I didn't start the thing itself. After that, I started running through some of the side quests I have left over, so I started off with retrieving Millennia's Ingot, Spoon, and the Soul Gem. And yeah, pretty much the other ones, deliver those, and I do the other ones that is pretty much like talk to the people or go somewhere to just complete it. Nonetheless, we ran into another random dungeon and we got stuck in this long one for a long time because there was just followers and those things were just ugh. Also, did I mention I hate spiders because the spiders gave me a freaking disease that by the end of the stream I could not get rid of, and I have like some sort of a blurry sight. Believe me, it's hell annoying if you see it. Nonetheless, that's where we ended up on the Sundays. And as always, thank you guys for watching this week's weekly recap. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Would you like to see more? Would you want to see more? Hit up the subscribe button. Would you like to see my channel? Click the Twitch thing on the left. Go to my channel, follow me there, and get a notification when I go live. And if you would like to see last week's video, click on the video down below. And with that said, my friends, this is Ratkanos, and I'm out. And I'll see you guys in next week's recap.